Mercedes Moné has absolutely been slammed. She's been called rotten and unimpressive, and it's uncalled for. We are going to be looking at some of the most controversial comments and statements made towards Mercedes Moné, who's a controversial figure in her own right, in today's video. These comments have ignited talk among the wrestling sphere. Both WWE fans, AEW fans, it just seems like everyone is chiming in on these comments made by Mercedes Moné, and it's absolutely explosive. Now, look, Mercedes Moné, she's always been kind of a lightning rod type figure within the wrestling universe. Some people love her and others do not like her. There's usually not a middle ground of, she's okay, or, yeah, she's fine. There's usually not like that. You take a side, and in my opinion, I think Mercedes Moné is absolutely brilliant. I think she's brilliant in the ring, her character, her promo, everything. That leads us to today's video. Now look, Mercedes Moné, she has basically won all of the titles on the independent circuit, right? She has 9 championships, including the AEW TBS Championship. Now, she recently talked about her passion for wrestling. She said, if you don't love it, if you don't even want to try or grow or be the best, get the F out. Okay, now, a lot of people, they praised her for her bold statement, except for one guy, Jim Cornette. He had something else to say. Now, keep in mind that Jim Cornette, he makes a ton of money off of just absolutely criticizing and ripping AEW apart. He doesn't like anything that they do outside of a handful of talents like FTR. That's what he is. He comes across as bitter. He comes across as very annoying, in my opinion. If you really don't like a product that much, just stop watching it. I've never understood that psychology of like, I'm going to torture myself by watching something and ranting about something that I don't like. Doesn't make sense to me, but he likes to do that. He likes to lash out at AEW. He likes to lash out at AEW President Tony Khan. And on episode 406 of his Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru podcast, well, Cornette was asked about his reactions to Moné's statement, and well, in Jim Cornette fashion, he had a lot to say. He said, well, I don't think I've ever said all the things I've ever said that she didn't just love wrestling like she was doing. I don't believe I ever made that accusation. She loves what she's doing. She's convinced she's really good at it. Oh, and she is, again, apparently convinced of her own star power to the point where she can all tell us, hey, you know what? You get better. You get the F out of here. Be as right as I am. She's rotten. She's a rotten actress. She's physically unimpressive. She's bled to me in the ring because she misses as much as she hits, and she's trying to hold her wig on top. And but she loves what she's doing. You can't deny what she's really not very good at all of the parts of it. And did I mention these rotten promos? She's got dedication. I just don't know if I was her, I'd feel the need to verbally chastise anybody else's work to work harder. Well, I guess she's worked hard. Okay. All right. There's more people. Hang on. There's more. He went on to talk about why he does not think that she needs WWE right now. He said, I think she's more than better off where she is right now than going back to WWE, where she's got him wrapped around her teeny tiny little finger, and he's paying her, from what we understand, quite a pretty penny to do what she does, and she can still do anything else she wants. It's not like her career is, unfortunately, like her career is at the end. I don't know what he means by that, but whatever. He continued, like Jericho, because he's 100 years old. So she can afford to milk this billionaire for quite some time to come and then go back for a Royal Rumble or the big matches on pay-per-view and a Hall of Fame and merchandise, etc., and do the thing. She's got plenty of time. Okay there, Jimmy, let's talk about this. In regards to her promos are rotten, she's a rotten actress, and she's basically just milking money and stealing money from Tony Khan. I strongly disagree with that. If you go back and you look at, there's so much to talk about with this podcast. Anyway, if you go back and you look at her promo and her promos when she first joined AEW a year ago, and she was brought in as a babyface, and she was supposed to be this big time star, and fans would adore her because she's back in pro wrestling. AEW missed the mark on what WWE had already done. We had seen a babyface run in WWE. We had seen a heel run in WWE. We wanted something different, right? In AEW. And her promos when she first came in and what she was doing when she first came in did not work. Now, it didn't help that they paired her with Willow Nightingale. Totally understandable because Willow was, of course, part of the match that Mercedes Moné broke her ankle in New Japan and sidelined her for like half a year and delay her AEW debut. I understand why they put her with Willow, but you should have brought Moné in as a heel because no one wants to see a babyface versus babyface match with Willow Nightingale, who is one of the most beloved stars that AEW has. So that was your number one mistake. Number two, bringing in Moné and having her do these wacky promos that made no sense at all and had no connection and no substance and nothing at all that was remotely interesting. And that comes from a Moné fan. Okay, I'm a Mercedes Moné fan, yet her promos absolutely sucked. Okay, when she joined the dark side, if you will, when she turned heel and she started to actually give us a reason for what she was talking about and why we should absolutely care, well, her career started to take off. So I strongly disagree with Jim talking about how her promos sucked, that she sucks in the ring, that she botches things. Dude, she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I'm not even talking about females. I'm talking about pro wrestling in general. This chick is on fire right now. She is in her prime and she is having matches after matches after matches and banger after banger. She's crushing it in the ring, right? You can be critical of her promos. I have in the past. You cannot be critical of her in-ring work. She's absolutely crushing it. Now, let's talk about the whole WWE return. Now, we know by reports that she was the highest paid female star in pro wrestling when she signed her AEW deal. Most AEW contracts for top tier talent, for main event talent, are 5 years. So she has a number of years left on her AEW deal before she can go back to WWE if she wants to do that. Do I think she returns to WWE one day? Of course I do. I agree with the fact that I think she'll come back and do a Royal Rumble return or just come back in general and do a big time return and do everything that, WWE usually likes to do. She will go into the Hall of Fame. She will have big matches on pay-per-view. She will sell a ton of merchandise. But I strongly disagree with old Jim Cornette on this one. I just think he's reaching a little bit. You cannot like Mercedes Moné but still respect her. And I think a lot of people, they miss that line and they just go, oh, well, I don't like her, so I don't respect her. And it's like, no. She's really, really good. It may not be your cup of tea, but like, she's still really, really good.